Life's tough
when you're in PC.
Life's rough
When you depend on me.
to give you
weapons,
items,
armor,
information for your journey, and still you still push it and try to hurt me. Life's tough
When you're in PC.
Life's rough.
When you
You know, I didn't want to do this episode. I don't like Rob Liefeld. I don't like anything he's really done. I try to avoid anything that he's worked on, really. Hell, I didn't even want to do this video. But, I mean, as you can clearly see, Illinois is still a frozen hellscape where the average high today was -17 with a -47 degrees Fahrenheit. So, my options were, pretty much, review this RPG, or have one of my blackened fingers sawed off of my body. And let me tell you, I really thought about the latter good and hard before I made this decision. So yeah, here I am, in my robe, ready to do this. But before we get into this, I really suppose I should talk about who Rob Liefeld is. For those unaware, Rob Liefeld is a comic book artist who was quite popular in the 90s, arguably one of the darkest times in comic books in general. Liefeld was very much known for a very unique style that was outlandishly over the top, had no idea what body proportion or really the human anatomy was in general, had extreme objectification of women on a disgusting level, with body proportions that made no sense, as well as men with so many muscles it was amazing that they could even turn their heads. Basically, the only thing of substance and the only thing of worth that Liefeld really gave us in this world was Deadpool, and, by a lesser extent, Cable and the X-Force. Also, if you came here looking for a non-biased viewpoint, you maybe came to the wrong place. Apparently, Liefeld is something of a controversial, love him or hate him sort of guy in the comic book world. So I think it's pretty easy to see where I fall when it comes to those two categories. Beyond Deadpool, which was handled and written far better once it was far away from Liefeld's hands, the guy hasn't done anything in the comic book industry that I think that is even worth praise, and quite frankly, dragged the entire industry down for several years until it saw a brief resurgence. So, if you are a Rob Liefeld fan, you might want to just go to another video at this point. I don't really have much great to say about the RPG either, but you know what? Here it is. This is Rob Liefeld's BloodP.O.U.C.H. Listen, I want to also start all of this critique off with the fact that I know that this is meant to be more of a parody than it is meant to be legit. I understand that. I am aware of this fact. I know what it is trying to say, but just because something is aware and knows it is a parody doesn't make it good or excuse it from critique. Scary Movie and Epic Movie, for instance, are a couple of parodies of other movies. Does that give them a pass? No, they're pretty much garbage across the board. The game is very minimalist in style, only with a couple of pages, and it only offers really a brief overview of your typical Liefeld story of mercenaries seeking immortality through the BloodP.O.U.C.H, as well as a small set of stats for each character to build off of. And the artwork certainly fits the Liefeld aesthetic. The women look horrifically disproportional, shows off the nice little, mostly bare ass thanks to the thong, and really gives you that nice little spine that looks like it's a strange combination of a slinky and a giraffe's head. And then whenever it comes to the guys, they have so much muscle that they don't really so much look as a person as they do sort of like a Mardi Gras float that's kind of floating above you. The game itself works with a simplistic D6 system in which 5 and 6 are successes, and the more D6 you roll, the better. You have 3 stats, cyber, muscle, and pouches, that work as a sort of health as well as your power. After you run out of pouches, you start to lose cyber and muscle. If you lose it all, you're out of the fight until the storyteller decides that you can come back in. The system isn't bad. It's passable. I would almost call it like the generic role-playing system where you're rolling D6s and 5s and 6s are successes. So, you know, I'm not really sure who created this because I didn't see names on the thing, but at least whoever did create this at least gave us a decent system to work with an already just fundamentally broken concept. And that's it. That's it. That's it. That's about everything. Here I am in my robe at 3 in the morning in negative 20 to 50 degree weather, talking about a sad RPG with a simplistic yet decent dice system set around one of the worst premises that I can ever think of, which is anything involving Rob Liefeld and his offensive, crappy, terrible artwork and ideas for stories. And I still don't know who's going to play this game. Like, there might be 10 or 20 people out there that want to play it, and I'm including Liefeld himself in that. The game is a miss, and that is easily stated. If you're a Rob Liefeld fan, I think that you'll like it. If you're a Rob Liefeld fan, I don't know why you're still watching this video. I mean, the comment section's going to be gold for you whenever you get finished with this thing, but, you know, all the power to you, you made it through it. If you're not a Rob Liefeld fan, this is not going to do anything for you. It's clearly a bit of parody in the fact that it is self-aware, but there's not enough there to really enjoy it as a parody either. And then there's the whole problem that if this is a parody, it's so close to the source material that a person can unironically enjoy this as a Rob Liefeld fan. So, quite frankly, it's failed as a parody as well. So, either way, it gets a miss. Like and subscribe for more. Go to my Patreon. At this point, I don't care. I'm going to bed. Have a good night.